without MLS control, what are you? What do you
Right.
have? What value are you bringing to your members? I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, this is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 337 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Nicole, I'm in Vegas, which is
I
where
heard.
we will be in just 2 weeks. We
Baby,
meaning
you and
everybody
I?
coming to Bam Mania,
Yep.
you, me, everybody.
You had to get yourself prepared. That's why you're there?
That's what. Well, I'm here at Zillow Unlock, so most of the conversation at Zillow Unlock is happening today. I don't believe I've signed an NDA, so I'll probably talk about that maybe next week. Whatever
Okay.
I learn here.
Well, you don't know yet. You haven't swiped your pass yet.
That's true. There's a
They'll
lot
probably
of
have to take, like, your
swiping.
retina, and then they'll take, like, your thumbprints, and then they'll hold you hostage.
But there is news in real estate that we want to cover today, and to me, this story here is bigger than most people are making it. Rob Hahn did a great job of discussing it. I think he knows how significant this is, and I would encourage most in the industry to take that same type of sentiment around this information. So REcolorado, it's been in the news, like this isn't new news, but the deal closed. So
Right.
REcolorado, which is Colorado's largest MLS, was acquired by a company called, I guess, Mazel, M-A-Z-L LLC. That company is led by Joseph Burks. Let's be clear, that company is a... Before we jump into the rest of the pod, I want to invite you personally, as a Real Word listener, to Vegas, where I am standing right now. In just a couple of weeks, we will be at BAM Mania, and I have a special opportunity for you to join me at BAM Mania down below, just for my Real Word listeners. Take advantage and join us on October 18th in Las Vegas at BAM Mania. Now back to the pod. A private entity. This is not
Right.
private equity. So, Joseph Burks is somebody who's been in the industry, I believe, 40 years, is what I was able to read up. And this sale now has just closed. So this closed on Friday. So the largest MLS in Colorado, and it's also the 16th largest in the nation. You can read up more about this on nowbam.com. There's an article. On Friday, now that ownership officially changed. Now, just going backwards a little bit, there's 2 boards that used to own this MLS in Colorado, okay? One of the boards was the Denver Metro Association of Realtors, DMAR, and South Metro Denver Realtors Association, SMDRA. Okay, they were the main shareholders of that MLS, so they had control. They began to look for potential buyers, which to me, I don't understand why, if you're a
Well, that's
board,
what
you
I'm
would
like,
look
are you
for...
hurting for money? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you
I
giving it's like giving away your pen. Like, you're a writer and you're like, "You know what? Just take my pen. I don't need my
it's like
pen. I don't need control of my pen." Like,
it's giving away everything. The board, like,
yeah,
hello, local boards, you guys, without MLS control, what are you? What do you
right.
have? What value are you bringing to your members? I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, you know, when we talk about, NAR, it's going to take a year or 2 years before that membership really recedes. One, you've got, dues that, have already passed. So,
Right.
it's at least a year, but it's also like, unwinding the tie-in agreement. That's where their power is. They own and control a lot of these ML. They don't, I want to take that back. They don't own these ML. They own them in the way they dictate to them with that tie-in agreement. So anyways, they began looking for these potential buyers for REcolorado start of the year. The board objected this, and the board actually leaked information in July, and the entire board of directors was dismissed at that time. They allegedly violated a confidentiality agreement that was in place. So board upheaval, problems with the sale ends up kind of getting stalled, delayed through the summer, and now it's official. So this private entity, again led by Burks, owns this MLS. Okay. Now I've said multiple times, MLS is where all the power is in this industry. We'll cover more of that, but I want to go to, and I'll switch over to Rob Hahn's Substack. We have, by the way, we're about to talk about a PDF that is an agreement that needs to be signed by October 9th by these agents if they want to have access to this MLS. That entire PDF you can get on nowbam.com, so you could read through that if you're interested. But the PDF is covering this participant agreement. Like, Nicole, we're members of an MLS.
Right.
We have to sign a participant agreement to participate in the MLS. All right. So before I read what's in this participant agreement, Nicole, when you sign a listing,
Yes.
you'll probably sign a listing this week. Who do you think owns the data of the listing?
Well, the brokerage would own the data.
The broker. Look at you being
Yeah.
very technical. I thought you were going to be in, classic agent mode saying, I own it all. But yes, the broker.
I don't own anything. Are you kidding me? All I own is my pen. That's why I don't want to give it away.
So the brokerage owns the data. You sign a listing. Nicole is a licensed broker, but she's not the broker of record.
No.
So she signed the listing. Broker of record owns that data. And then, obviously the photographer always has done a good job of trying to own the photography, right? I mean,
Yep.
So, photographer, think about this for a minute. Photographer is in this like battle to protect, something in their business, to have, instead of just going out there and doing a service, they want to own something. Owning those that photography gives them leverage in the future if that property comes back on the market, or if that property
resell it. Like the whole thing's bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or if that property gets covered in some type of news outlet, they can get, PR out of that. Or if somebody wants to, somebody else wants to license those photos. So they're licensing that photography. It makes their product that they're selling, the service, much more valuable. The data is more valuable. The licensing of the photography is more valuable than going out there and snapping the actual photo, right? You could argue that. So this participant agreement, which now that Burks is taking control on Friday, has been delivered to all these agents, and it needs to be signed by October 9th if these agents want to move forward with the MLS that likely they've been using for years. And, it's the 16th largest in the country. I don't think they have another place to go, to have a feed, that goes from MLS to all these other portals and so on. So number 3 on the participant agreement is data license. And it says REcolorado will grant data licenses, including without limitation, Internet Data Exchange, which is IDX, Participant Data Access Policy, which is PDAP, back office, virtual office website, to participant upon the receipt of written requests from participant in a form acceptable to REcolorado and subject to approval. The data feed will only be granted pursuant to a license agreement, which REcolorado has no obligation to grant. REcolorado reserves the right to deny a license to participant, any users, or any vendor that is in default of any written agreement with REcolorado or MLS policy, in addition to any applicable license fee payable by participant, the users, and or the vendor. Participant shall pay to Colorado all costs and expenses incurred by REcolorado, blah, blah, legal stuff. Okay, so here's what they're saying is we, the MLS, REcolorado, the entity, the private entity, own your data that you're putting into the MLS.
Right.
And you actually have no control over that, meaning you have to now ask permission for your own data that you're basically putting in. This section says that, so, there's another section here. And here's the section. MLS must, upon request, promptly provide an MLS participant a data feed containing at minimum all active MLS content input by the into the MLS by or behalf of the participant and the participant's off-market listing content available on the MLS. So the MLS has to give the brokerage all of its own data when they are basically, this is from the MLS. I'm sorry, this is from the MLS handbook. So let me just back up. This is what the MLS handbook that NAR says, but this MLS in Colorado is not part of NAR, and it's not a the agents don't have to be part of NAR, so they don't have to follow this,
So
which
are
means
they
like
so they're also able to put then like what they're offering out, a commission structure, right?
well no, they couldn't.
No?
They can off no, hold on, they can't put in a commission structure on the MLS because that's blanket whether you're NAR or not.
Okay.
So that they can't do that. That would make this MLS very, very powerful,
Very
right? But no,
powerful.
they can't do that. So the NAR MLS handbook says the opposite. Basically says the MLS is a custodian of data, not the owner. But this new owner of the MLS has flipped it and owns the data. Okay, so the broker is not the owner of the listing when they put it into basically this MLS. They own that data, which means they have the right to profit off of that data. They have the right to do with that data what they want with that data. It's giving them full control. So REcolorado is not a realtor MLS. If they were, this particular participant agreement would be null and void. It'd be thrown out immediately because it's in violation of the NAR MLS policy that I
Right.
just brought up. So Rob Hahn over on his Substack calls this theft of intellectual property. I think it's. I mean, he thinks it's a a bad move. I mean, he said it's a shit move. Frankly,
It doesn't
is what
just
he
even
wrote.
make any it just doesn't even make any why they were even selling it to begin with doesn't even really make any sense to me.
Yeah, why the MLS got sold is puzzling. Don't know the answer to that. Maybe if somebody in Colorado knows the answer of why, if you were a
And
member of these boards,
this is the only MLS that they currently own, is that right?
that this private entity owns. Yeah, this Burks.
Yeah.
I think he's a local real estate, you know, somebody who's been in the business 40 years. Rob says don't sign the participant agreement. I don't know. I mean, how are you going to get your listings? You got 9 days to figure this out. It's October 1st.
Ah.
Says immediately demand a copy of your own data. Okay, and then consider
Well, I would
add.
assume then I would think that the brokerage would be arguing this, right? I mean, not the individual agent, like the brokerage, because it sounds like you need permission, right? Is that how I'm reading it? I like as the brokerage would need I would need to be granted permission, right?
Right, right. And so they have all the control once you give them the data. So
But
yeah,
it
if you
sounds
want,
like then even the photographer would then need would need permission back. Like everybody would need.
yeah, the photography I don't have any information on how that works because the photographer is licensing that photo to the broker. The broker is now putting it into the MLS. The
Right.
MLS is saying on this participant agreement they basically have full control over this data. Here's why this is important. It's like maybe you're thinking, who cares? I just want the feed to go up. Who cares who owns the data?
Yeah.
The amount of money MLSs can profit off of this data, an investment group, a bank, they want data. And so now you've got these brokers that are part of this, Denver, association or whatever. They don't make a big margin as it is, brokers. Okay, so brokers, it's why they're crazy about mortgage, they're crazy about title, they're crazy about insurance because
Right.
the agents are making the majority of and the brokerage has expenses. There's not a huge margin in the brokerage business. It's usually about the ancillary business.
Correct.
Now, if brokers actually own these MLSs, they'd have another opportunity for revenue. Okay, if all the brokers in this particular area had a revenue share model based on like, okay, you do 10% of the units, you get 10% of the revenue of what we make from the MLS. That would be something that would be really valuable for brokers. Now, brokers have dropped the ball on this because 20 years ago they've tried over the last 20 years to build some kind of national MLS. Rob Hahn is supposedly working on a
His own
alternative,
MLS. Yep.
yeah, alternative MLS, which we'll ask him about when we sit down with him at Bam Mania. But I don't know. I've seen many of these attempts at some kind of national MLS. You've got people that are saying they want to build one. That's a real difficult challenge. I mean, if anybody's up for that challenge, it'd be probably Zillow. And Zillow still, I'm interested to see what they say today, but they still say the MLS is very valuable because they have such a direct feed of data coming into their portal. They haven't gone
Well,
and created a national
now that
MLS.
this private entity now owns the MLS, I mean, it almost opens up like a whole can of worms because I'm sure in the past, like and I'm not saying that Zillow didn't think that they could ever buy an MLS, but who the hell would sell off their MLS to like a private entity, Like, and
It,
now
it
it's
doesn't make any
happening.
it doesn't make any sense. And so Rob called it a shit move. I think this guy Burks, it's a brilliant move by him going and grabbing this type of control. I mean, yeah, he's a villain probably in that market. This participant agreement doesn't make any friends for him, but man, I own that asset. He was able to
Right.
pull this off. This is Bobby Axelrod level stuff. This is impressive that he was able to push this deal all the way through. Don't know how he did it, but he did it. And if I'm a broker, I'm trying to do the same thing that he did in my local market. I'm by hook or by crook, I am going to try to control whether it's with other brokers as a group or even individually like this guy pulled it off. I'm going to try to own MLSs because that is where all the power sit. The NAR is losing power. Your local board has no power unless they're tied into this to their local MLS. It's all about the MLS. Zillow needs the MLS. The
I mean,
association, everybody needs the MLS.
I imagine then there must now be something in your listing agreement, though, that is like now having to disclose the fact that the seller's information now is no longer ours to keep, right?
Maybe, maybe.
'Cause
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
some sellers
just
would be like, "Hell no, like, I don't wanna be on the MLS now if this guy now owns my information that you're uploading and can do whatever he wants with it potentially."
well, I think most sellers make the trade off. It's like I'm in that moment of time where I need to sell my house on this timeline, and
Yeah.
what is going to get the most eyeballs? You're telling me, agent, that
You're still gonna have to have that conversation with the seller, so there's gonna have to be some
yeah,
sort of
the
disclosure in there now.
yeah, I'd imagine so. That piece of disclosure. My point is, if some agents like, I'm not going to join this MLS, I think you're stuck. You're cornered here. It's like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
not going to join this MLS. Okay, are you uploading to Zillow, you know, individually, and then to Realtor.com individually, and then to your
right.
website individually? Like, how do you feed into those? Um, if you're not going to do that, so you know, Rob believes there should be a competitive environment for MLSs. I think this is going to come up at some bit of discussion here. Like you'll start to hear brokers start talking again about building an MLS. They've never been able to do it. I don't think you're going to get brokers to really, you know, go into startup mentality and build an MLS. I think you've got to do it. I don't think competition is actually going to work here. I think you have to do it the way this guy did it, which is go and own these things. You got to go take them over. He was able to pull it off. 16th largest MLS, quite an asset. Um, how you get there and how you get through. I had a conversation with Stefan Swanepoel at T360, and he said it's very difficult. He told me to get deals like this to happen. This is the rare occasion, not the rule here. So, all right, we'll see what happens. We'll see if more MLSs do end up getting some kind of takeover. I'm for the hostile takeover of brokers taking over MLSs. Okay, that's what I'm for. Carl Icahn style. Is it Carl Icahn? Did I
I
get
have
that right,
no idea.
Bobby?
I don't even know. Are you talking about
Correct.
billions again?
The activist investor.
Oh,
I
no.
think I think it's Carl Icahn.
It's Carl, but I don't know if it's
Icahn.
Yeah.
I pronounced it wrong. Who would have figured? All right, one
Who
more
would've?
piece of news, Nicole.
Yeah.
There are this is from Real Estate News, newly ID'd opt-ins are adding $30 million to the NAR settlement fund. So the rich getting richer on the attorney side of things for the
Never gonna
plaintiffs.
end. Yep.
Yeah, just 30.6 million just added. What if you put a deal together and then the buyer's just like, hey, I'm just going to pay another,
You know what?
30%. I've decided.
I'm just gonna opt in and pay you.
Why not? I'm going to pay you more.
I would love that. I got a kid going to school. Why don't you hold your money and give it to me in 3 years? Keep it because I'll need some more then. Don't give it to me all at once.
So there's 15 non-Realtor MLSs that now have agreed to jump in. That total 6.2 million in fines. Alaska MLS. Man, if I was Alaska, I'm like, is anybody even paying attention to me up here? Why would I join?
Easy. Everyone pays attention to Alaska.
Nobody pays attention to it. How often do you hear Alaskan news?
I don't know, but they're not the cheapest one on here. I mean, look at SE Alaska. There's more than one Alaska MLS on here.
If you are listening from Alaska, we love
listeners.
you. We love you, and let me know in the comments if you're listening from Alaska and if you're part of the Alaska MLS or what's the other Alaskan MLS?
SE Alaska MLS.
SE Alaska MLS, 19,000. Can't imagine there's probably not too many members there. Anyways, you got 15 non-Realtor MLSs, and then you have 13 brokerages that opted in. That's going to be a total of 24.3. And so on this list of brokers that opted in, you got Fathom, you got Key Realty, Michael Saunders and company paying $1.2 million. Big independent Sarasota. Michael Saunders, she's built quite an impressive brand over the years. It's been around a long time, so they've opted in now. Pinnacle, Rose and Womble, Brown Harris Stevens at 2.9 million. Shore West Realtors at 6.9. Silver Creek Realty Group, Vanguard Group, and Watson Realty, McCraw, Downing Fry Realty, Downing Fry name people know. And then there's another name on here, The Agency, at 3.75 million. Agency gets a lot more headline. Thought that number would be bigger, but it's all based on productions. Agency at 3.75 million. Maybe they did a good job negotiating their number down. I don't know. But anyways, interesting because Mauricio is on that deal of starting a new association. So
Right.
I would have just thought he would have been a holdout.
Right.
Personally. That's the only reason I bring that up.
Well, unless he just wants to wipe his hands clean of it and then move on. Why have that over his head? I don't know.
Speaking like an attorney there, Nicole. Well, this is not legal advice, by the way.
No,
so
gosh.
Now the settlement total is with previous settlements, and then the NAR settlement is now up to a total of more than 980 million. So I'm sure at some point they're going to crack the $1 billion mark. These groups that have opted in have asked that this be addressed and approved by the November 26th final hearing, which is when the settlement actually does get approved, is November the 26th here before the end of the year. All right. There you go. If you want to know everything you need to know about this industry, how to be an agent of change before the end of the year, speaking of end of the year, come to BAM Mania 2 weeks out. Or 2.5 weeks if you're watching this on the first day of release, October the 18th, here in Las Vegas. Nicole, I cannot wait to hang out with you in Vegas. Since you are,
hopefully there's still plane
100% gonna
tickets
be
left
there.
because I don't even have a plane ticket yet. We need to.
We got you covered, Nicole.
We got to
Don't worry
finalize
about
all
it.
that. I'm not walking. That's for sure.
No, that'll be a long walk from Connecticut to Vegas.
A long walk.
All right. That's it. I guess we'll see you guys next week. Nicole, thank you.
Yeah, see you guys.
I will see you next week in Connecticut. So
I love it. It'll be exciting. Hopefully you won't be just squeezing me in,
I'll squeeze you in. I'll squeeze you in for dinner. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
I'll let you know at 6:30 when I'm sitting down to
I'll be
come meet
waiting.
me.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. Keep it real.
Bye, guys.
August 17th approaching, it is more important than ever for agents to keep their clients, not just for the transaction, but for life. So I believe so much in what Reminder Media is doing. They're creating content that allows you to stay in front of your sphere of influence, the clients that you've transacted with in the past, so that they think of you first when they have a referral, when they have another transaction. A lot of people send a just sold or a just closed realtor talk mail. Reminder Media supports agents like Nicole, my co-host on The Real Word, in building out an authentic magazine where you can advertise your own properties. Here's an example of our award-winning luxury new development that we have in Connecticut. Put it right on the back and put in a whole bunch of relevant information. You can build out the content inside of your magazine and send it to maybe people you're following up with to get a listing, or people who are in your database right now who know you but might just forget about you because you're mixing in with all the postcards from the other agents. Reminder Media keeps you top of mind with the people that you want as clients for life. That's why we believe in so much of how they're helping agents just like you stand out. Go to remindermedia.com/BAM sample. Remindermedia.com/BAM sample today to get your sample and start reminding your clients exactly who you are today. At BAMX, we listen to what real estate professionals want and need. That's why our platform is filled with sought-after courses, content, and tactical assets for your business. And that's why we launched BAMX in a box with templates and scripts done for you, delivered each Friday. The best part? It's not coming from panel pontificators who bought their followers and don't sell any real estate. It's coming from top agents, team leaders, and content creators in the industry. It's education that actually shows you how to do what you need in today's market. And now it includes editable templates and scripts so you can easily deliver that knowledge to your database. Every day, we continue to add more content into BAMX, into our private Facebook community, content that works, content that our members have exclusive access to daily. So do not wait any longer. Use code REALWORD and join the thousands of agents taking their business to the next level today. Code REALWORD for 10% off. I'll see you in BAMX.